Good evening, YouTube, and welcome back to Paisano's Music and Vinyl Talk. I am your host, Paisano. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We talk about rock and roll here. If you've been watching for some time and not yet subscribed, please do. I love subscribers and I love comments. Please keep them coming. Tonight we are going to talk about the fifth studio album by the group Whitesnake. Now this came out in November of 1982. And Whitesnake was still struggling to make it in the United States, their main audience. And at least 90% of their sales were taking place in continental Europe and Japan. And this album only sold about 60,000 copies, which is crazy. I reviewed their album Slide It In, which was the one after this, and the self-titled one from 1987 that really broke them open worldwide and made them worldwide superstars and headliners coast to coast around the world, and changed things radically for the band. But this, their fifth studio album called Saints and Sinners, it saw them struggling. Struggling for a larger audience. It's a very good album. It played very well. It's in very good condition. I bought it, no doubt, at Quincy Records. They had a much more extensive heavy metal and hard rock section there. I probably would have bought this around 1985 or 86, I would imagine. So it's a reissue. And there are two songs on here that ended up getting recycled for that big breakthrough album in '87. And a lot of reading I did on this album during the week. A lot of people prefer these original stripped down recordings, the original versions of the songs, which a lot of people said that the ones from '87 were, very hair metal-y, product of hair metal, a little too polished for their liking. And I didn't mind these stripped down versions at all. They're the original versions, the way the songs were originally meant to be heard. All right, they updated them a little, but I don't know. But I'm comfortable with both albums carrying this song. Definitely probably the two best songs on the album. Although, like I said, a very good album, rock solid, great rock and roll record. And this had a couple of Deep Purple alumni on it. Ian Pace on drums and John Lord on keyboards was still around, although I believe they replaced guitar players. I think they got rid of Mel Galley. Did they get rid of Mel Galley? Yeah, Mel Galley was out and Bernie Marsden was in, and Mickey Moody was also playing guitar for them. Neil Murray on bass, David Coverdale on vocals, and like I said, Ian Pace on drums and John Lord on keyboards. Produced by Martin Birch, who was a very notable British producer. Had a hand in more than a few Deep Purple albums, and I think he did nearly all of the early Whitesnake albums. You see the front cover, it looks like a statue of an angel and a serpent. On the back, you get a shot of David Coverdale. And even in 1982, you can see the influence that Robert Plant had over these singers, especially the ones with the long blondish hair. Even Lou Gramm from Foreigner around in the late 70s was sporting the long blonde hair, obviously influenced by Robert Plant. But David Coverdale had his own style, no doubt. He's a very good rock and roll singer, very good hard rock singer. And, well, let's go over the track listing, shall we? Side 1 starts off with Young Blood, then Rough and Ready, Bloody Luxury, Victim of Love, and one of the songs that was to be rehashed 5 years later, Crying in the Rain. Side 2 starts off with another one that was rehashed in 1987, Here I Go Again, and that one, when it got re-released, really, that was the big single from that record. That's followed by Love and Affection, Rock and Roll Angels, Dancing Girls, and the title track, Saints and Sinners. Take a look at the record. This came out on Geffen, David Geffen's label. Yeah, this album played really, really well. I can't remember the last time I listened to it from start to finish, if ever. If ever. Here we go. Original Geffen label from the old days. I don't think it was released on Geffen to begin with. I have to take a look at that. I don't know if Geffen was around when this came out. But, yeah, like I said, this was followed by Slide It In. And then the next album was the 1987 Whitesnake album, which really broke them open. Slide It In was a big step up. They got John Sykes on guitar. And, he stuck around for a little while. Yeah, that was really Slide It In's a really good album. Go back and check it out if you haven't seen it. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. What will Paisano dig up next week? Tune in. Find out. Thank you, and good night, YouTube.